How's it going, guys? Working on another 4910. I use a cordless chuck out of a drill, mounted to my wheel. I go off the bar studs and a piece of brass wire. That's how I do that. But I figured I'd try to do a little bit better job on explaining on what I do to these 4910s. That is, the cylinder's completely stock. Nothing's been done to it at all. So you can see, this is hard to do on a camera here, but you can see, you know, these transfer ports. What I did is they're huge, and you know, I went crossed here, you know, took that out and then shaped it. You do got to be careful, you know, so you don't blow in through there or whatever. But I mean, it's doable. You know, this is all done by hand. I mean, I'm not perfect, but I mean, try to get you, you know, a shot of the, some call it a heart shape, lung, I don't know, Mickey Mouse ears. There's so many different terms for it. The finish that I use in there is a 60 grit. I really don't go any finer than 60 grit on the intake side. But let's see if I can get a flashlight. See, this intake's it gets squished to an oval. It goes from a round to an oval, and I tried to hold that oval shape, you know, to match to the boot. If you look in there, you'll see that my port is just as wide as the rubber boot now. I didn't go wider than that. If you guys do that, you're dumping your velocity in. That's not good. And then I left. This is so hard to see that hump in there. I trace that out with a Sharpie, the shape that I'm looking for, and then that way it gives me guides to follow to get the shape that I'm after. So hopefully that helps. I mean, here's a stock one, and I mean, try to get this one back over there. Sorry about this, guys. I'm horrible. I didn't go much wider. I mean, I might have went out just to where the chamfers, you know, where the factory chamfers are gone, and then I put chamfers back in, but I didn't go crazy wide on that. But that's the shape I'm after on these. This is the transfer work that I'm after. And I get people that tell me, oh man, your transfers are just ginormous or whatever. I've had no ill effects whatsoever on too big of transfers. I have had ill effects on too small of transfers, but I mean, can you guys, trying to get you a good view. Now I will warn you, going to put this together, the rings will drop into here and hang, so you just can't force the cylinder. You know, even with the little plastic ring compressors, they're useless to this modification, because it'll let you go into here, but then the lower ring on the piston will pop into these ports. So you have to use your fingers, and sometimes I've got I don't know where it's at right at the moment. I got a plastic screwdriver that's non-conductive for like adjusting on CB radios and stuff. That works good to push rings in, because you're not going to scratch or damage the ring. But I mean, if when you're porting these, if you're worried about going too big on like that, just stay within the factory parameters here, and then drop it and then make it big. I mean, you don't necessarily have to take everything out like I did, but that's my choice. That's what I do. And as you can tell, I've cut the base on this as well. These Echoes have absolute horrible squish from the factory. I've seen as much as 85,000 squish on them before. Lately, the 4910s have been averaging between 65 and 70,000 squish, but I have seen them as much as 85, and that's part of the reason. Like, I'll get people, can I send you my jug and you just port that? I can't do that. If you're pushing the envelope for tolerances, and I set a jig up and I cut, say, 65 off one, and I got my 20,000 squish, but some other jug might have had a different squish read and I cut that much off, and then you get it back, your piston will hit. So when I do them, every single saw gets a timing wheel put on it. I check squish on every single saw. That's just me. Now let's take a look at the transfers. Like I said, I try to get this pointer in here. I never touch that one. This is the one I molest. And can you see how I did that? And then where I went in and ground farther into the wall to get this to go where I want it to. I mean, here you can kind of see a stock one. Kind of blurry. But that's how I do these, both sides. So I'm hoping that is gonna help you guys out. And what I'll do is I'll throw a piston ring in, and I'll use the piston, push it up to the height that I'm desiring. I mean, you can go the same height as this one, or 2 degrees, sometimes 4 degrees below it, and still have almost the same results. I'm not seeing much difference. This one I chose to go the same height on. I did leave a little bit more squish on this one. I mean, 20 is great. 20 is like the ideal, but this one's going to be for a heavy use firewood production saw. This one I gave it an extra 5. So this one's got 25,000 squish. Still 102 on the exhaust, and this one is 80. Where my skirt cuts off, coming from the top as it's coming down, where my skirt cuts that off right there. I'm at 80 degrees. If that helps you guys out. The exhaust, I just widened it just a scooch. Well, tall-wise it went wider because I had to raise up the roof, but the actual width is not much wider than factory. Total gap this way is wider now, but the way that fin is in there, if I was to cut that out the way I would like to, you will hit air. Trust me, I've done it. It's not fun. Then you're stuck with a bum cylinder, and I'm not real fond of JB Welding or anything on the exhaust side. I just start over. So when I raise this, I'll go in and I'll pitch my tool up, and I will taper it, and I'll work at getting my shape and the height first right there. I won't touch anything else on the port, and then I will roll it. I'll keep breaking this edge, and I'll roll it down into this port, and then the rest of this I want as smooth as possible, and I try to keep it as straight as I can to kind of act like a little header, like a little short header tube. That way, I don't even have to molest the gasket or the muffler because I didn't widen. To me, that for 50 cc's, that's plenty big enough port right there. I see guys that funnel, you know, they go from that inside out and funnel it to a great big old huge like reverse funnel, and I can't prove that that's good or bad. I don't like it, because once again you're dumping velocity. I want the exhaust charge to come flying out of here with as much velocity as it can, so it can also pull a substantial amount of fuel charge into that port and the muffler, if that makes sense. That way there's fresh fuel at the ready for whatever gets sucked back in for the suck back part of it, or reflect, or however. And that's part of the reason I like my exhaust to come out, go into a big muffler, hit a wall, so it has something to refract back to stuff that back. And I like a side outlet. I find my saws have better torque on side outlet versus front outlet. That's just my you know, my experiences. But I thought I'd show that. And you know, here's a stock. This goes on the carburetor. Here's a stock one. I don't like that at all. Like, it just doesn't even make sense to me why they did that. So that's my version. And this doesn't have to be super smooth either. That doesn't matter. But if this helps somebody, I guess it was worth posting. So yeah, I guess, you know, next time I get one of these tore down, I'll try to get you guys a pic of the wash pattern. But that's, in a nutshell, that's how I do these 50 cc's. I'll try to do another video, I guess, when I go to do the muffler mod, if that's something you guys are interested in. But alright, sorry for the wobbly video and me rambling on. You guys have a good one.